You found your person. Now let the Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast, or EPEEP for short, hashtag EPEEP. So today we are on episode 14, and we're not going to lollygag too much because this is a fantastic episode and I kind of want to just dive right into it, but we have a little housekeeping to do. So it's not just me this week. On the other line, it is my co-host from Sports Entertainment Breakdown. He's the one that evolved way too quick. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
Yeah, nicknames aren't easy, are they?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
For everyone listening, this is take 2 of the intro. I put the you peaked too quick because in this episode, Raichu peaked too quick. He wasn't that fast.
I don't know, man. That can be taken a lot of different ways. And I don't appreciate any of them.
Oh, but so we're getting off to already a raunchy start. But we're kind of celebrating this week, Doug.
Why are we celebrating? It's episode 14.
Yes, it is episode 14.
Isn't it? Episode 14.
Yes, it is episode 14. I called this episode 18 by accident on take 1. Everyone. But yes, we are celebrating because we have a legit fan base coming out of the woodworks. And we are everywhere now. You can actually get us on Amazon now.
I'm still waiting for that sweet, sweet Audible money to come in.
If only. Just kick a couple cents over to us for every download off of Audible. But yeah, we're celebrating. We're literally everywhere. We have a base following of EP fans that love listening to us. And I want to take a second and thank everyone that's come aboard and that's listening to each episode as we're reviewing it. So I tilt my hat off to you and I want to thank you.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to know because we're enjoying doing it, obviously, and
it's one of the highlights of my week.
It's nice to know that we're not just talking to a wall out there.
I know. For real. I might end up changing the handle for our Twitter, like keeping the Twitter, but changing the handle. Follow us at Poke Breakdown as of right now, as you're hearing this, and go ahead, submit. I know it's going to be about a month before this episode is getting out, but as we're recording it, but go ahead and submit to us some good Pokemon handles, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, wait a minute. We don't need to go change the hand. We can change the name. We don't got to go changing the handle. That's more of a process.
What? Poke Breakdown.
Well, right. But, you don't want to change the handle because doesn't that reset?
No.
Oh.
No. It's literally, you go into the account settings. They let you change it up to, I think, 2 or 3 times. And then after the 2 or 3 times, it's locked as the name that you are. So
still think it'd be easier to just change the name.
No. Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast just flows off the tongue now.
Well, what's wrong with Pokey Breakdown, you picky bastard?
Because I honestly, I low key tried to go on Twitter to see if at ePeep was available, and it was not available at all. And ePeep 1 wasn't even available. So I gave up on ePeep
I
for the
see.
hand. Yeah. But maybe I can do ePeep fans at ePeep fan. No,
No.
that could be taken so many. Okay, Pokey Breakdown. It will. It will stay Pokey Breakdown.
Yeah, see, you start poking at stuff.
Get some nasty things in our Twitter
Doesn't
in
need
our
to be-
Twitter feed.
Doesn't need to be poked at and shit.
I know. But today's episode is episode number 14, everybody.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's called Electric Shock Showdown. And as it's translated from Japanese, it is Electric Shock Showdown Kuchiba Gem. So, I like the American version because it's short, sweet, and to the point.
Well, right, and it's the same thing. You're just throwing a couple of Japanese words there on the end.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff.
Very same stuff. But this episode aired in Japan July 1st, 1997, and it aired here in the US September 25th, 1998. And what we like to do on this podcast is go back to the US date in historical history. That's redundant.
That is redundant. You're all over the place tonight.
I am. I'm excited to do this episode. But yes, we like to go back in history on the date that this aired here in the US. And did we agree that I'm going first this time? Or are you going first?
Yeah, you're going first.
I'm going first? Okay.
No.
No, you're going.
No, I'm going first.
There you go. Yeah. See, you're all over the place.
Oh,
See,
one time.
I had it.
One time. Who made this take two?
You did.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
So
who would have pouted if I didn't?
I would have.
Yeah, you would have.
Yes, I would have. It would have been a fantastic episode.
Would have been 35 minutes because you would have said dick. You'd have been minutes.
I'd be like, yeah, Pikachu did this. And right? Did this. And then Ash was like, okay, Pikachu, just do this. So yeah, great podcasting. Yeah. But so let's go back September 25th on this day for you, Doug. What year did yours happen?
So in the 13 episodes that we've done so far, we've tried to pick out a specific moment, whether it's a sporting event or, last week we had a movie release or, a TV show debut or, what have you, This week, through just complete happenstance, and one of us copying the other and sending us into a panic.
You know what? I did not copy you.
I don't know.
We found the same event that happened on this day.
Well, to be completely fair, you weren't sure about your initial thing, so you kind of panicked.
Well, I asked you, and we both agreed that I couldn't talk elaborately on the topic.
This is true. And I was so slick because I was like, I'm not going to tell you because I'll get a better reaction out of you on the show. And you found it on your own. I was so mad. But it works out because I was able, on the back of that, to find what I would deem a better option. So
Wait a minute. Hold up. You found. I found.
well, yeah, who's saying it?
You are.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be a great episode.
So for the first time in the 14 episode history of this podcast, long illustrious history, we're going to be
Hey, man,
talking
that's
about
3.5 months.
yeah, well, we are going to be talking about specific birthdays on today's episode. So, born on September 25th, 1965, one of the 50 greatest NBA players of all time, a 6-time NBA champion, a why is it not? Oh, it's down there. A 3-time Olympic gold medalist, a 7-time NBA All-Star. I'm just kind of scrolling down shit.
Come on, listeners. Tell us, scream into your phone right now who Dougie Fresh is talking about.
Arguably by virtue of who the second greatest Chicago Bull potentially ever.
Arguably.
Well, arguably. I mean, I could sit there, but people shout me down real quick. My favorite, I'll go with that. That's better. My favorite Chicago Bull.
There you go.
I have all 3 of his NBA jerseys. The later 2 were a little bit harder to track down. In 99 and 2000 respectively, or whenever he ended up going to Portland. Scottie Pippen was born on this day.
Woohoo!
Probably my favorite player. I think, honestly, because everybody else was on Jordan, I was like, well, I'm not going to go with everybody else. I'm going to go with Robin. He had a brief run leading the team when Jordan tried to go play baseball.
He did a good job.
He did a fine job.
Yes, he did.
Team didn't go that far in those years, but he still, were on top of the Eastern in the top discussion of the Eastern Conference. Yeah, he was a member of the Dream Team in the '92 Dream Team. Like I said, whole list of accolades. NBA Hall of Famer in. When did he get elected? You would think that'd be an easy thing,
but it's not.
You think it would just be, oh, it's right here. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame anyway.
There you
go. And yeah, without the risk of it becoming just reading off a Wikipedia page. Yeah, that's mine this week.
All right. And mine this week,
which you stole.
I did not steal it. I found it.
Bullshit.
I found it on my own without you telling me.
Stole it.
So, also born on September 25th, he was born in 1968, and he is often referred to as my doppelganger. It's good old Will Smith. Everybody and their mama say I look like a young Will Smith, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
You do.
I do not.
You do.
Do I?
You do.
Okay, I'll take it. But good old Will, and if you don't know who Will Smith is, I don't know really what to tell you, but he's famous from like many movies. He did Men in Black, he did Wild Wild West, he did I, Robot. Like he's done a lot. And
Favorite
those
Will Smith movie? Go. Don't think about it. Go.
favorite Will Smith movie? I don't have a favorite Will Smith movie.
What the hell do you mean you don't have a favorite Will Smith movie?
I don't have a favorite. I like almost all of them.
Give me a favorite.
I don't have a favorite movie.
Bullshit.
Okay, fine. Bad Boys for Life.
There you go. For the most recent one?
Well, yeah, it was.
Not
It was
not one or two or.
I think two was good. Like if it was between one and two, I think two was better. But I think they made a real big comeback with number four. You want me to tell you the worst?
Yeah, give me your worst.
Aladdin.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
They dressed my man up as a big blue balloon.
All right. Taking Aladdin out of the equation because that is a stinker. What's his worst movie?
Oh. Mm, I I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
I said,
honest.
I like almost all of his stuff. I'm personally trying to think of what I would actually put as his stinker. Yeah, you might call me out on this later, but I really don't have a stinker.
Maybe Suicide Squad, but I wouldn't really categorize that as a Will Smith movie. That's an ensemble movie.
Hey, but I liked Suicide Squad.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't the greatest, but I mean
That's one of those movies, and I think we can attest to it because we went and saw it together.
yes.
That's one of those movies you left the theater and you went, that was a good movie, and then you kind of chew on it in the next couple days, and then you do a couple Googles, and you're like,
These people have a point.
You're like, well, yeah, maybe.
I'm actually I just Googled right now like his filmography and I'm going through this stuff and I don't really see a bad movie.
Oh, you know what? If it's not
What's-
Aladdin, it's After Earth.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
I will give you that one. I forgot this motherfucker was in Anchorman.
Well, yeah, but I don't. That's a fucking cameo.
Yeah, that was a cameo. But still, forgot that he was even in that movie. But yeah, I don't think any of these were really bad movies. So, all right. So that is my historical birthday. Great birthday. So, ooh, I found one for next week. Are we going to do birthdays next week?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's just it's one of those things where that jumped out at me when I was looking earlier, and you were struggling to find a backup, and I just
Yeah.
happened to luck into Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, you did.
So
let's go ahead and get on into this fine episode of Electric Shock Showdown.
yeah, this episode didn't fuck around.
No, it didn't. And it not only did it not fuck around, but you want to tell people that you found your new favorite episode?
Yep, I found my new favorite. I told you last week that Squirtle Squad probably wasn't going to last long on top of the list. I didn't know it was going to be so soon because I remembered Electric Shock Showdown, but I didn't, fully remember it. So I'm kind of sitting there at points, and I was kind of getting goosebumps, and I was like, I shouldn't be getting goosebumps on a goddamn, whatever
Kid show.
kids show from fucking 99,
98.
98, so yeah, this is my new favorite. I'm not gonna say anything about how long it's gonna last because I don't know anymore.
We'll see. We'll see. I think you have a few weeks. And I'm pretty sure just me looking at the list right now, I'm not going to throw it out there, but I'm pretty sure I know which one's going to be your new favorite. I'll give you a couple weeks.
All right.
All right. So we start this week's episode with a dirty as hell Ash, Misty, and Brock and a tired ass Pikachu because they finally have made it to Vermilion City.
Yeah, we got a bit of a time check because the narrator said after 2 weeks of wandering, they finally made it. So it's like, all right, y'all fucked around for 2 weeks.
They must smell like shit.
Well, and Misty says, "I want to take a bubble bath," and Brock says, "What does Brock say?"
Let's see. Oh, he said he has to hit the laundromat.
He has to hit the laundromat. Ash just wants to go straight to the gym.
But he stopped in his tracks because Brock points down at his feet and Pikachu is as dead as a rock.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's beat. I mean, to look at him, you'd think, okay, he barely made it into town. I mean, they all barely made it into town, but Pikachu's just done.
Yeah.
So they go into the Pokemon Center, and
they're all hungry.
Okay, now here's my question. When when Ash hands Pikachu over, because obviously he has to be different, and they're on the tray, and it's got the one open spot where Pikachu's Pokeball would go.
Yes.
Ash goes, "I think it's hungry."
Yes.
Have we not, or have I just retconned Pikachu as a male in my head?
Well, this is a toughie. So they have talked about Pikachu and how you can differentiate a boy Pikachu from a girl Pikachu.
Oh yeah, I think we even talked about that early on in the show.
Yes, but in the actual series itself, they have not gone over that yet. Because at this point, we haven't seen another Pikachu has not interacted with another Pikachu. And
right.
So as we know, like the girl Pikachu has like a little heart at the end of its tail. Well, like the top of a heart. And then the boy Pikachu, it's just all spiked out decked the way that Ash's Pikachu is.
Right.
And I'm going to point out right now, and I hope people like that I do this, but there's a misprint on this episode already.
Uh-oh.
Right as Ash is handing over Pikachu. So, and I found this out just rewatching the episode a little earlier today. And on the freeze frame that I'm on right now, Nurse Joy is looking at Ash and Misty, and Nurse Joy has on her hat, and she has a red cross on the top. Later in this episode, when Ash visits the Pokemon Center later, Nurse Joy has a darkish, like greenish blue cross on the top of her hat, unless they somehow trade off sisters for different duties. But I always thought each Pokemon Center has one Nurse Joy.
Yeah, I thought it was one Joy and one Jenny per town.
Yes, that's what I thought. So now that I've pointed that out, you'll see it later in the episode as we're going on. But yeah, that's a misprint as of right now, unless this is how she was supposed to look, and then the misprint is in the middle of the episode. But we'll end up finding out.
And I was so proud of myself when I noticed her cross initially.
Oh,
Son of a bitch.
good job. Good job.
Well, because I think we mentioned something. I think it was last week because we talked about the differentiate. How do you differentiate a Jenny?
Yeah. Yes, and that's by the symbol that is on their hat. And with Nurse Joy, it's the same thing. It's well, in this series, we're gonna have to keep a closer look going forward. But each Jenny should have a different color cross on her hat, and then go. I think in a couple seasons, it's gonna be a badge that she has on her um dress. I
Well,
guess you could
son of a
say.
bitch.
What's up?
I've been scrubbing through, and sure as shit. And it's only for like one scene. Like, and if you blink, you miss it. But yeah,
Yeah, you see it, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
misprint.
it's for like 2 frames. It's like I'm watching it now to see how quick it is. But yeah, son
Yeah,
of a gun.
misprint. So I just wanted to go ahead and point that out. If anyone wants to go ahead and review this themselves and give us a little bit of feedback as well, by all means, go right on ahead. But yeah, so it's at this point where Ash and Misty start talking to Nurse Joy, and they notice Nurse Joy looks like the other Nurse Joys again. And Nurse Joy goes through the whole spiel talking about her first cousin, and then second cousin, and that she's a third cousin, and that they all look alike.
Yeah, but we don't get the Joy family photo like we got the Jenny family photo.
No, no,
So
not in this episode.
right.
So, and it's funny because as Ash, Misty, and Brock are listening to her say this, Ash and Misty both are stone faced, and Brock just has this big old smirk on his face because he's so smitten over Nurse Joy.
Yeah, and so when I was watching this, I kind of got a catch real quick that Brock was kind of creepy, just kind of horn doggish. But now knowing that he's 15, he's lust after these Jennies and Joys. I mean, to this point, that's all he's lusted over. I'm sure you're a little further on.
Oh, it's gonna become every
Oh,
single.
and what's her face from the Sanctuary?
Oh, Professor Ivy.
No, 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 no. What's her from the Bulbasaur?
Oh shit! Why would you do that to me now?
Well, you
What
don't have to
was?
look it up, but I'm just saying that's a for instance.
Yeah. So he was all smitten over her. So it's basically any woman, and it's funny because I just watched an episode, and Brock, there was there's an episode where a guy, well, where one of the girls is a bad guy, and Brock wasn't like all smitten over her because she was wearing a disguise. And but all of them thought that she was a specific character, and then when she took off the disguise, um Max, who is the younger one in the series, it's Ash, Max, Brock, and his sister's name is slipping my mind right now. May. And Max goes, "Oh, so that's why Brock wasn't so smitten over her." It was just funny. Hello?
So he's got like radar.
Yeah, he does. He has that pervy radar, so he can tell if someone's good or not. and whether he wants to be with him or not. Because
Well,
notice he's never gone after Jenny. I mean not not Jenny. Jesse from Team Rocket.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because of that or because of the fact that they're always trying to kidnap their Pokemon.
True. That's
You
true.
know,
You
man.
trying to steal my Pokemon. If you wasn't trying to steal my Pokemon, I'd try to bone you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, man can be as horny as he wants, but a man's got principles.
But this next scene is where we start getting into the meats and potatoes of this episode because this Rattata is being wheeled in by a Chansey and its trainer, and he's kind of freaking out because he just left the Vermilion City Pokemon Gym and he lost to the Pokemon leader.
Right, and I think Joy says something like, that's the 15th one this week. And, you know, we kind of do a quick pan over, and there's an Oddish and a Sandshrew. I didn't catch the Caterpie.
Yeah.
Well,
the Caterpie was in the first bed.
Okay, well, that's why.
Yeah.
So, okay, Caterpie, Oddish, Sandshrew, and now this kid's Rattata. And because I knew about the Raichu. So my first thought was, no shit. Like, what's a Caterpie gonna do? What the hell's a...
How the fuck did it beat Sandshrew, though? Sandshrew shouldn't even be able to get hit by electric attacks like that. Unless he got... he does have those sucker punches.
Well, yeah, that was my thought. He probably got kicked and punched and body slammed. Because I would imagine this Surge, who, you know, we're about to officially meet, even though he sounds like a goddamn lunkhead, probably knows a thing or two about training. Because, I mean, for goodness sakes, he's a gym leader.
Yeah, for real. But what we're about to find out in this episode is he doesn't know everything. So, in this scene, let's pay attention to this scene for just a brief second. So, Misty and Ash start bickering back and forth because Ash is looking at all the Pokemon and he kind of gets a stern look on his face. And Misty looks over at him and pokes fun at him just like Misty does. And she's like, "Oh, you look like you're scared." And then they start arguing back and forth and just pisses off every single Pokemon trainer that is inside of this Pokemon Center.
Yeah, and, you know, this brings up the whole thing about you were given your badges, and I've made the argument on a couple episodes now about how Ash got his first 2 badges, and I don't want to do it again. You know, it's out there. You know, go back and listen through our catalog if you need a refresher. Misty gets a little physical. She flicks Ash in the nose. And I think we're to believe that Ash is actually going to punch her at one point.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. But I mean, she did make up a good point. She said, how are we going to look if you walk into this gym and you just get pummeled by the gym leader? So you need to know your shit going into this gym fight.
Well, it's the same principle as the AJ fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, they were okay, you know, it's not an official Pokemon gym, and then, you know, Ash is like, "Well, I got 2 badges." And he's like, "You know, where'd you get those? Loser City or you know, whatever, Failureburg or whatever." And then that's when Misty and Brock got real hot.
They're like, "Show this guy who's boss."
So this is Misty kind of trying to get in, you know, beforehand and be like, "Look, you know, like you said, you need to be on your game, otherwise we're going to look pathetic." Brock doesn't really agree with her, so I don't know what his deal is. Brock I think he kind of laid out because he's like, "Okay, they're in the middle of something. I'm not getting thrown in the middle here."
Yeah, Nurse Joy is actually the one that kind of stops them from bickering because she said this is not the place to be doing this. I mean, there's Pokemon trying to heal, and Misty and Ash just pan over and look at all the Pokemon, and all the trainers are just giving them death stares. Like, can't you do this somewhere else?
Well, I mean, for goodness sakes, it's a goddamn hospital.
Yeah.
So then we go to.
Wait, hold on. Because I know you're about to skip scene, but Nurse Joy pokes fun that Ash and Misty might like each other. She said people who fight like this normally like each other, and Misty and Ash just look at each other and then they turn their backs to each other. I honestly think that they personally like each other, and if it wasn't spoiled on Twitter, finding out that Ash has a girlfriend like now, I would think that these two end up together.
Well, that's the cliche with anything, especially if you're watching a show as a kid and it's like there's a male and a female lead. You go, oh, so they're eventually going to get together, whether it's Ross and Rachel on Friends or, Penny and Leonard on Big Bang Theory. I'm struggling to think of cartoon examples.
Scooby-Doo. Fred and what's the pretty girl's name?
Daphne, but they are together.
Well, in some cartoons, in other cartoons, they're just friends.
Well, that's true. But yeah, it's an easy kind of kid thing to be like, okay, these two have to fucking Harry and Hermione.
Oh, I was so mad when they didn't end up together.
Well, but I think it was too easy.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so it's an easy thing to put the leads together because they spend the most time together. I
still think she had feelings for him.
Well, yeah, but Ron's a good egg.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I mean that's and you're kind of sitting there and you're like, all right, it can't just be about the bike at this point with Misty following them.
Absolutely not. And I personally don't think that Misty has a lot of friends. I mean, for gosh sakes, I mean, she's only 10 years old. So she's 10 years old in this world of Pokemon. She's now allowed to go out and be a Pokemon trainer. She wants to make a name for herself. She was going to do it by herself, but she found someone that was the same age as her, that has the same type of goals, and she can follow this kid on his journey while she's getting water Pokemon and learning about Pokemon itself. Because outside of the bike, what is Misty really there for? I mean, we got Brock, who wants to be the greatest, basically the greatest Pokemon healer of all time. And he wants to learn all about Pokemon and be able to treat them, heal them, and care for them. What just right now, can you tell me what is Misty's goal?
Well, she classifies herself as a trainer, or not a trainer, a gym leader. In
Just
this episode, episode, she said, "Brock and I gave you badges."
Yeah, true.
So she classifies herself as a gym leader, but if anything, she's gym leader adjacent. And I think something was said about, I can't remember if it was it the Bulbasaur where she was like, I think I'll catch it, and then
yeah, she wanted to catch the
Oddish.
Yeah, she wanted to catch Oddish because it was close to the water.
So, right, it was taking a drink. So she's got designs to catch Pokemon, but like you said, I think she's just kind of a hanger-on at this point.
So, but at this point in the episode, they hear the nice little ding. Nurse Joy says, that means all of your Pokemon are good to go. And we cut to a scene of Pikachu outside of the Pokeball eating an apple And all the rest of the Pokemon are just inside, just being all envious. Like, you're going to share that apple, right?
And so Pikachu, Ash is like, I hope you're full and ready to go, Pikachu, because we got to go earn this gym badge. And about that time, Kid comes in with a Pidgey that's just about cooked. And
I think that's the only time we see that Pidgey, because I think that Pidgey's dead.
But again, what the hell is a Pidgey going to do against that Raichu?
They're all bringing in Pokemon that is going to easily get owned by this gym leader.
They're all bringing in like level 5 Pokemon. Like, what the fuck?
And Raichu's a fucking level 15.
At least. So Pikachu sees that and absolutely freaks out.
Pikachu is not a fan of battling.
Well, no, but I mean that kind of gets flipped on its ear here and towards the end here. But yeah, Pikachu. Well, I don't know if it's a fan of battling or it's fan of not getting its ass kicked.
Yeah, Pikachu knows its strengths and its weaknesses and knows damn well, okay, I can shock humans when I'm pissed off, and that's funny. But you put me up against a different Pokemon like this, I want nothing to do with it. No, right. Fuck you.
So, Pikachu kind of puts his foot down and talks to Ash to the point that Ash either understands or is just able to gleam through context. You're afraid, or you're concerned that I wouldn't be concerned if you ended up like that Pidgey. And Pikachu's like, yeah. And then this is brilliant because Ash kind of has a moment where he's like, oh, and he looks down and he pops right back up because he's like, that's okay because you're going to win. And he goes to get Pikachu off the bed and Pikachu digs his heels in and shocks him.
Oh, that was funny. Well, he called Pikachu a damn scary cat.
Well, I mean,
he said, Pikachu, don't be a scary cat.
And that's a little strange because all you've got to go on is this, admittedly, 16 potential victims of this trainer speaks for itself, but you don't know what this Raichu looks like.
Yeah, for real.
This could just be a case of 16 weak Pokemon.
Well, at this point, he doesn't even know what Pokemon he's getting ready to go up against.
Yeah, nobody mentions Raichu.
No, everyone's just like, my Pokemon's dead. But we quickly go from that scene of Ash getting shocked by Pikachu to Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu standing in front of the Vermilion Gym, getting ready to go up against Sergeant Sarge. Well, Sergeant Surge. There you go. My bad. And it's funny because as soon as they enter the gym, you have one of the other trainers inside going, we have another victim. And that's when this episode gets a little funny because he thinks that Misty is the one that's battling.
Well, and I kind of had a moment when they first walked in as well, because we're met with these two lackeys. And I'm going, oh, this is straight out of the game, because these are the two you would probably have to battle in the gym before you got to the leader.
Yep.
I was like, oh. But he, and I had a moment where he's like, he doesn't battle. No.
But what about the way that they introduce Surge? Like they make him out to be in this big, tall, buff adult and just scary, and just whoever choreographed this episode, like drawing wise, did a real good job.
Well, I've got it froze here on a shot where Surge is out of the shadow and he's just standing there talking with him, and all three of the kids look like they're about 3 feet tall, and he looks like he's about 8.
For real. And they're about to shit their pants just looking at him.
And I mean, it's this big dude, just boots and gloves and jacket, no shirt underneath the jacket. He's got dog tags.
I think I'm going to make this the screen grab for when I put this episode up. Just the three of them looking up at a tall ass Sergeant Surge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. There you go. Yeah, that's going to be the screen grab.
So, going off of what the henchman said, Surge is also under the impression that it's going to be Misty. And he's like, well, don't think I'm going to take it easy on you, and then she's like, well, I'm not the challenger. And he goes, oh, and Ash goes, I am. And he goes over to Ash, and it's about that time Pikachu pokes his head out from behind Ash's leg.
Yeah, but Surge called Ash a baby when he put his hand on top of his head. He's like, oh, I'm about to fight a baby.
I mean, all things considered, this Surge fella is 9'5", and Ash is 10 feet tall, and Ash is only 10.
But it's funny because, yeah, as you said, when Pikachu's poking his head over to the side, he's like, oh, the baby bought, or the baby brought a baby. Oh.
And Ash is confused and hurt. He's like, why are you calling Pikachu a baby? And Surge goes, oh, I'll tell you why. And he throws out Raichu.
And Raichu's a chunky little Raichu too.
Right. And this is where, we get good old Ash and his Pokédex. Because as soon as Raichu comes out, Ash says, oh, it's Raichu. But you still got to get the interesting random Pokemon fact. Which, produces enough electricity to shock a Dragonite is not something to sneeze at.
Hell no. Like, if I could have a Raichu just to shock a Dragonite to catch it, man, I can't wait. Because I know Ash ends up getting a Dragonite in this last season of Pokemon. And I really want to find out how he got this damn Dragonite. But
I have a question, and I should have looked this up because I thought about it earlier today, but I got sidetracked.
Okay. What's that?
In Pokemon Yellow.
Yes.
You start with Pikachu, and it's the same gimmick as the show.
Yes.
Doesn't like Pokeballs, all that stuff. Can you evolve Pikachu?
No.
No, okay.
And even in the new Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, you cannot evolve Pikachu or Eevee in either one of those games.
You can't wait. I get Pikachu to a certain extent, but you can't evolve Eevee?
No.
Even though they have all these different walking and flying animations for other Pokemon that follow you, if not Eevee?
No. So you can't evolve Eevee or Pikachu. They do give you the option of getting another Eevee in the game or another Pikachu. You actually can get either one of them fairly early in the game. And then you can evolve those. You just can't evolve your starter because your Pokemon will actually tell you no.
That's a little strange, especially for Eevee, considering he has 67 evolutions.
For real. And he's about to have 68. But yeah, no.
That's one low key I'm looking forward to, that episode.
Oh, the Eevee evolution episode?
Yeah, that's a low key favorite of mine.
Oh, let's see. How far out is that? Let's see. I can actually find it. Oh, we got a long way.
I know, but it's
it's episode 40.
I was just thinking of this because there's a lengthy discussion about forced evolution and stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be a real good episode to go over.
But yeah, that's a good one because Eevee was low key one of my favorites in the game, just because you could do so much with it.
So, but yeah, when we get back to this episode, Raichu is now out of its Pokeball, and this is the first time that we're actually seeing Pikachu want to battle like really, really bad. Like it took this Raichu, an evolved form of itself, to kind of intimidate Pikachu in a way.
Now, was it all that, or was it also a little bit of Surge calling it a baby?
I think it has a lot of everything to do with it, but I honestly think it's Raichu. It's it's kind of a theme going forward. We'll cover it in future episodes, but when some of Ash's Pokemon kind of face the evolved form of itself, it kind of gives that Pokemon courage to want to be more.
Yeah, and I mean, I subscribe to that theory, especially because what we're about to see in a few minutes.
Oh,
Not so much this initial battle, but that scene. I mean, it's not. Is it a spoiler if we're about to cover it?
not
I mean,
really.
I'll wait
All right.
because we are. It's literally like 2 minutes away. So we have the initial battle. It's Raichu versus Pikachu 1v1.
So, but Brock is doubting that Ash can win this battle just from the jump. Brock is basically saying he's like, I highly doubt Pikachu is going to be able to win this battle, especially up against this evolved form.
Well, and that's all Brock has to go on is the two Pokemon standing there. And you look at Pikachu versus Raichu, and Raichu, while he might be a chunky unk, he's a big boy.
Yeah, Raichu's definitely eating well inside of this gym.
Well, that's mean.
Well, he is.
Well,
He's eating well.
he might be. So
So,
Pikachu gets the first attack, and he throws a Thunder Shock, and Raichu basically just absorbs it.
yeah, I kind of was like, oh shit, because he absorbs it, and okay, it was Thunder Shock first because I know all the moves, so he absorbs it and then throws Thunder Shock back at Pikachu, and with the animation in this episode, Pikachu gets bombed. Like Pikachu just goes blowback from that Thunder Shock.
Yeah, and it's doing the swirly eyes and everything, so you think, oh, that's it, but then Pikachu kind of shakes it off and goes back in, and
Well, Brock is telling Ash to call back Pikachu. Pikachu can't battle like this. Pikachu can't win. That Raichu is too strong.
so Ash does it, and Pikachu shakes him off,
Yeah, which is the first time that Pikachu's done something like that.
and then goes in and gets Thunder Punch, and he gets kicked.
Basically, it turns into a kickboxing match. And then after that, freaking Raichu jumps up in the air and just body slams Pikachu.
No, that's later, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
He
Okay, my
gets
bad.
he gets like one big I think it's Thunder Wave, maybe. One last big electric attack, and then we basically do a smash cut to the hospital.
Yeah, it's like a thunder. But what one thing we did skip over is during this battle outside of the gym, Jesse and James of Team Rocket are watching, and Meowth is out there cleaning one of his coins for his head, and they're like, "Oh, well, if Pikachu loses this battle, then Pikachu might not be worth as much, and we might have wasted our time stealing this Pikachu." And then Meowth goes, "Yeah, maybe we can start going in there and stealing Raichu," and they just clobber him.
They hit him, which I don't know. That's a valid point, and he got hit for it.
Yeah, he got 3 knots in his head for that one line.
I don't understand that. So yeah,
Uh,
then we Then we do a smash cut to the hospital. They're all three at the bedside.
And Pikachu is just pissed. Pikachu wakes up, looks over at Ash, and just turns his back to Ash, just like in a defeated state, just
No,
pissed.
but the way you said that makes it sound like he's mad at Ash.
No, he's just mad at the situation.
Yeah, I mean he's frustrated, and Brock says as much, where he's like, Pikachu got pretty hurt, and Ash takes offense to that, thinking he meant physically, and Brock goes, no, I mean like it shook him to his core, because he was confronted, kind of like we said earlier, he was confronted by his evolved state, and for Pikachu to lose so dominantly to essentially what is his own kind, that's a blow to the old ego.
Yeah. And then in comes Nurse Joy as they're talking about Pikachu, and just out of nowhere, just happens to have a Thunderstone inside of the Pokemon Center, saying you can use this, and if you use this, this will evolve your Pikachu into a Raichu.
And Ash kind of goes, and then we got to walk through they got to hold your hand through the hole. If you use it and he changes, you can't change him back. But he would be strong enough to maybe go up against the other Surge's Raichu. And I think it's relevant to say that Team Rocket once again are outside the hospital room. And it's only relevant to bring them up now because Ash basically goes to Pikachu and goes, what do you think?
And Pikachu bats the Thunderstone out of his hand. I mean, Pikachu's lucky. Like that, if that would have gotten any closer to its actual skin and he didn't actually hit Ash's hand, bye-bye Pikachu.
Yeah, see, and that was going to be my other question, because it's not really explained in the games. Like in the games, you say you use item on this Pokemon, and then it's like, oh, this Pokemon's evolving. But like, what is the process of a stone evolution? Like,
so you take the stone. I've seen this quite a bit in the series so far. So literally, you take the stone and you place it up against the Pokemon's body, and the Pokemon evolves.
Anywhere on the body?
Well, normally, from what I've seen, they normally place it around either the stomach or the head. I know for Slow King, he had a King's Rock, and he held the King's Rock, and then as he's evolving, a Shelter came up and
bit him on the tail.
No, on the head. Because Slow Bro is on the tail. Slow King, the Shelter, is on the head.
That's right.
So, but for the most part, it seems to have always gone on the belly. I know in the Eevee episodes, it's like on the side or on the forehead of the Eevee.
See, so there you go. Pikachu batted this away with his tail. That kind of contact wouldn't be enough then.
No.
See, there you go.
Not the way that they're portraying it in this episode, but the way that he kind of batted it away was he hit Ash's wrist, which Ash's wrist then let go of the Thunderstone, and it just went flying.
Yeah. And then Pikachu delivers this impassioned speech that's interpreted through Meowth about wanting to go back and battle Raichu just the way it is, not only for itself, but for the sake of Pikachu's. And Meowth is crying, and once it's translated, James starts crying, and I got goosebumps, and I shouldn't be getting goosebumps, but
because it's so, I mean, it just makes you like, it just hits you the right way. Like if you're a Pokemon fan and you're watching this, it just hits you because Pikachu is so passionate, because not only is Pikachu hurt, but Pikachu is like down and out right now. And he's giving this big speech like Pika, 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 and everyone's just looking at Pikachu like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know what he's talking about, but we don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, and the only thing that's a little, I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but we're basically seeing this speech. I mean, we're hearing the speech, but we're seeing it through Meowth so he can interpret it to the audience.
Yes.
We didn't see the reaction from the 3 or 4, because I can't remember if Nurse Joy was standing there the whole time. The people in the room, other than when Pikachu's done and they go back and they say and they walk out of the hospital. At what point does Brock mention he might have a strategy?
It's
Is that not until they're in the gym again?
no. So it's while they're here inside of the Pokemon Center because Pikachu ends up collapsing back on the bed.
That's right.
After giving his speech because he drained all the energy out of himself again.
Right, he's not 100% ready.
And Nurse Joy comes back in the room, basically telling them Pikachu will need to rest a little bit more, but Pikachu will make a recovery. And Brock then looks over at Ash and goes, I think I may have a strategy for beating Raichu. And that's kind of the end of that cutscene.
Because something we skipped over at the time because we knew we'd have to double back on it was Surge made a point before the battle he said you need to evolve your Pokemon as soon as you get them.
Yeah.
And he was patting Raichu on the head as he said that. And but that's not elaborated on until
this upcoming battle.
I mean, we basically step out of the hospital, and well, no, that's right. And then we're headed back to the gym, but then we get absconded, I guess, by the impromptu cheerleading squad.
Team Rocket.
Well, it's Team Rocket, and we know that right away. I mean, we know that right away just by watching it, but then they start to do their intro.
Meowth has to slap them silly.
And quite frankly, they had that coming because they hit him when he had a good idea. And they're like, we forgot. And then they do the cheer for Pikachu.
I'm sorry, like if people, because I know we kind of do a watch along, but if people can go back to this scene or find this on the internet or somehow, freaking Jessie's dance to this is like she turns into a snake and her tongue just flies out of her mouth and she's doing this wacky tongue thing. I don't know. For some reason, I was just cracking up when I saw Jessie doing this during this episode when they were cheering.
So they do the cheer and they bow and they go walk away and Misty goes, "Thank you, Team Rocket," and they kind of, how did they know it was us? Never mind the fact that there's a goddamn talking Meowth.
Yeah.
And how many of those are there around?
Jessie was like, it was a lucky guess.
And then we basically smash cut to them about to kick off another battle. Like we didn't get them walking back in. It was just, oh, we're battling again.
Yeah, it's some weird cutscenes in this episode. But I mean, they had to kind of get straight to the point. Maybe if they had an extra 5 minutes, we could have gotten those little extra walking or strategizing and different things like that. But they kind of had to get right into it.
So I am doing a quick. So yeah, we go right back into it, and Raichu knocks Pikachu back with his tail.
Oh yeah,
and then he's basically holding Pikachu down with tail thumps.
Just whacking the mess out of Pikachu.
And this is where we get the body slams.
Okay, yes. And then he goes up for one body slam and then goes and Pikachu gets out of it and then goes back up for another one, another body slam, and Pikachu dodges the attack this time. And that kind of makes Surge like pissed off. But then Ash and Pikachu have this great idea, Doug.
Yeah, they start using agility attacks. And Pikachu's dip dodging all over the place, and Raichu's just this lumbering, just he's lunging and missing everything, and that's when Brock goes. Serge mentioned he evolved uh, Raichu right away, and he didn't have the opportunity to learn the the speed attacks you only get in the Pikachu stage, and
So, and it made Raichu dizzy.
yeah, because Pikachu is literally running circles around him.
And Raichu can't keep up. So at this point, Surge says, Raichu, give him a thunderbolt. And at this point, Raichu holds nothing back and just gives a big thunderbolt, destroys the entire fucking gym, glass everywhere, and just destroys it. Like, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, because you got to pay for that. But yeah, so the dust clears and Surge says that's over, but then you see Pikachu standing with its tail
Dug into the ground.
dug into the ground, and then that's when I think Brock says Pikachu used his tail as a ground and was able to withstand the shock. Um, Raichu, I think you mentioned earlier, used up every bit of energy to get that, so he has nothing left.
And this is the first time that we've seen in the Pokemon series that a Pokemon, even though in this case it's an electric Pokemon, can actually use up all of its electricity until it gets recharged. Like in the old Pokemon games, like say like you have like a Thunderbolt that you can use 10 times. After that 10 times, you can't use that anymore until you go to that Pokemon Center and recharge your Pokemon.
Correct.
So in this instance, they actually played that into the series, and Raichu used up his Thunderbolt, and I'm guessing, right, if we're thinking video game instance, Raichu's used this Thunderbolt a couple times and hasn't had to go over to the Pokemon Center and just used up all his electricity.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think, and I mean, if you think hard enough on something, you can poke holes in anything. But something was said about how this is the 15th, before the Pidgey came in. So it was 15 before.
So he was number 16.
So I'm not going to sit here and assume that Raichu had to use Thunderbolt on everything. I think we talked about how he probably kicked and punched that Sandshrew.
Yeah.
He could have squished that Caterpie for all we know. We're relatively certain Pidgey got shocked because Pidgey was almost crispy.
Yeah, Pidgey's dead.
So yeah, I mean, if you really broke it down, I think there's something to that theory. But then, so Surge basically tells Raichu to do something. Pikachu
He says to do Thunderbolt again.
and Raichu's having none of it. And then I think he tries to do Body Slam. Pikachu's coming at him with a quick attack.
And then a tail whip of some sort. And the same type of tail whip that Raichu kind of hit him with earlier and just knocks out Raichu.
Yep. And that's it. And Ash wins the Sun Badge.
The Thunder Badge.
Thunder Badge. Sun Badge. It looks like a fucking sun.
Yeah.
Um,
and that just makes Pikachu's day. Pikachu's so happy
And then we get a couple of minutes of everybody clapping and congratulating Ash for being a goddamn master of the universe and everything.
Yeah.
Ash gets his badge and shows it to the audience, and Pikachu does his little peace sign. Surge is putting over Ash, and Raichu's clapping for Pikachu.
It's a happy ending.
Ash picks Pikachu up, and they shocks him again, but it's a happy shock, so Ash feels no pain, which apparently
is a thing.
And that's we leave the gym, and then the last shot of the episode, strangely enough, is actually Team Rocket walking into the sunset.
And they have the line of the episode that they've been rooting for the good guys.
The whole time. And this is literally 10 seconds before we go off into the Poke Rap. And like you said, James says, we spent an entire episode rooting for the good guys, and the narrator's like, that's right, James, better off next time, and that's it.
So, good episode.
No, a great episode. I mean, like I say, it's my
it's your favorite so far.
My new favorite so far.
Man, this was a nice flashback episode. Now, I wanted to wait until the end of this episode to bring up something, because they've been hinting really, really hard that Ash's journey might be almost coming to an end in the Pokemon series. And well, from what I've been reading on Twitter and online, would it be some shit? Would you actually be interested if Pokemon kind of started over, but this time, instead of it being Ash, we actually got to see Gary's journey?
No.
You wouldn't like that?
No, because I don't have the same. Well, I mean, I say this now. I mean, I don't know how I would feel, but I don't imagine I would have the same connection
with Gary.
Just because my limited interactions with Gary, he hasn't exactly endeared the audience.
I love me some Gary.
Into liking him. I mean, he was a dick to Ash. At Oak's Lab on Selection Day, and then he fucking killed Ash with a door.
Well, he killed Ash with a door, but he didn't know Ash was behind that damn door.
He might have.
So, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's the one thing I think they could have added to that. He hits him with the door, and then you just get a split second of Gary looking back and going.
And then that's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
So, but yeah, this was a really, really good episode. And not to blow anything short of this episode, but the next couple weeks that we have on this show is going to be kind of a doozy, because we actually have a 2-part episode. I'm gonna call it the first official 2-parter, where one episode is actually going straight into the next episode.
Yeah, and I'm excited to actually watch them, back to back, and not have to, wait a day. So I can have, part 1 fresh as I'm doing part 2. I think I'll be able to grasp the whole story at that point, which is exciting.
Yeah. Now, actually, I'll ask you this next question off air, and then we can announce it next week. But the next episode is episode 15. It is called Battle Aboard the Saint Anne, or translated from Japanese, it's called the Saint Anne Battle. So, I mean, kind of the same title, just a little bit of mixing up of words. And then after that, we have Pokemon Shipwreck. And then as it's translated, it's called Pokemon Adrift. those are the 2 episodes that are 2-parters, and it's gonna be nice to actually review those starting next week.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And I think I know your question, and I'm thinking about it.
Okay. So, but we will be back next week. So, and you'll have the answer to this illustrious question that I have, Doug, that I'm going to ask him off air. But other than that, do you have anything else to say, Doug?
No, this was a great episode. No filler at all. It's like they knew it. It's like they didn't even bog us down with a Team Rocket like invasion plot or anything.
No, just straight to the point.
Like this is not only was it a gym battle episode, but you had some conflict, you had some inner conflict, you had
they mess with your emotions.
You had a Pokemon monologue. I mean, solid episode.
Yeah. So they did a good job, and I'm glad.
This was awesome.
Yeah, this was awesome. So if that's all, Doug, then I'm gonna have you say sign off by saying your goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling you to tune in next week as we review the 2-parter, starting with Battle Aboard the St. Anne. Have a good night, everybody.